an Unspoiled Network podcast.
This is Spoil Me, covering One Piece, Season Blank, episodes 36 and 37. In these episodes, we get to see what happens to Nami's adoptive mother. It's really sad, and I feel deeply unnecessary. Welcome to Spoil Me. Welcome to the show, everyone. I am Natasha.
And I'm Gabriela.
Welcome, Gabriela.
Thank you. Very excited, very happy to be here.
Where are you from? Originally
from Mexico.
Okay.
Living in DC area. So.
Right on. So you're an hour ahead of me right now.
Yes.
So why did you choose these episodes to be a Spoil Me? The WANNABE, I should say.
Two reasons. One, I love Nami. She's one of my favorite characters. And
I love her also.
Yes. So I wanted the opportunity to talk about her background and her experience. But two, this specific storyline in the manga and this specific moment in the manga where that moment with Nami and Luffy and the Straw Hat, that was it for me. That was when I went from, oh, sure, let's check out this manga that everybody has read. And I went to, I love this manga. And this is amazing. And I'm sold. That was my moment.
Yeah, this was the end of the second of these two episodes was a real, the right stuff, slow-mo walk kind of moment. Mm-hmm. And oftentimes that sort of thing can feel very false. You know what I mean? I've seen a lot of shows that attempt to pull that off. And it'll often, even the show seems slightly aware that it's goofy, and so they will add something ridiculous as a bit of a joke to sort of lighten things. And it's tough to pull off. And I really felt like they managed to really nail it at the end of this when he agrees to help and then begins to do the gathering of the troops and heading in. Is high impact, and it's really impressive that they managed to make a group of such goofy looking dudes look genuinely intimidating, because they're not intimidating in the best of times, guys, not usually. Kyle in the chat says, I've heard it's a pretty common opinion that this arc is the quote gets good section of One Piece. This is what solidified the show. I could really see that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
This is the moment where everybody goes yeah, it's a goofy anime. It's a sort of absurd storyline with ridiculous powers and everything. Mm-hmm. And this is the moment where you realize, no, this is an actual real story. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, yes. So I'm excited to hear all of your thoughts on all this.
Yeah, I really was impressed more than once throughout these. So I'm going to start, for those of you who are not in the crowdcast, I'm playing the episode in the background on the screen share so that we can at least all see, and talk about different moments. So if you hear us saying, can you see that? That's us pointing to the actual show playing here. So we start off a little before the end of the previous episode. Bell-mére is repeating some sentences that we've seen. What's that?
Bell-mére.
Bell-mére? Oh,
yes.
Beautiful ocean?
Beautiful mother, actually. It's what.
Really?
French. It's beautiful mother. Bell-mére.
Oh. Well, that's all right. Bell-mére. She is repeating some sentences that we heard at the end of the last episode. So we backed up just a minute or two. And she is busy cooking, and there's everybody is rushing to try and save her and help her. And it's such a bummer because she actually has the situation in hand if we were dealing with regular people. we have Arlong coming to the door and knocking on it, and it seems like she doesn't suspect anything. And then he opens the door and comes in, and she kicks him in the face and sends him flying backward, and then stands over him with a rifle like barrel in his mouth. And this wouldn't work if we hadn't seen him literally chew up a cannonball in previous episodes. I might be tempted to call bullshit on the bite strength that Arlong has, but it's already been demonstrated, so I can't even be mad about it. They've made sure to lay the groundwork for this. And yeah, she has a moment of really feeling herself, which it's understandable. And she's just like, I'm just watching this now. The moment where she's riding out on him like he's a fucking surfboard. She is so tiny in comparison to him. I just keep forgetting how huge Arlong is. It's hard to keep it in mind, you know? Especially because he's surrounded by other fishmen most of the time who are as big as him. So I just forget until he's next to a regular human being, which doesn't happen that frequently.
Yeah, like Arlong is imposing. It's
mm-hmm. Imposing is certainly one way to say it. Looking at his friggin' nose right now. So the girls are running back to the house. What's the name of the guy? The like police chief type?
Genzo. The one
Genzo?
Genzo, yeah, the one with the spin wheel.
What is that?
Just a spin wheel.
Why?
Because he wanted to put a spin wheel on the top of his hat.
I really wanted that to be something like linked to a power that he had or something, you know, even the guy that's with the Marine, he looks like a rat because he's meant to like be a rat, you know, like a bad, corrupt. But what is the significance of the propeller? I keep thinking of it as a propeller, mm-hmm. and you know, in American culture, at least, if you wear a hat with a little propeller on it, that's meant to indicate that you're a child who should be given a giant lollipop and patted on the head and sent off to play with his friends. Like, that's meant to indicate you're a kid. Mm-hmm. So it's really wild to me that this guy who's like in an official position and wearing otherwise what looks like a uniform has just this mod on his uniform. All right. Why not?
Yeah.
So yeah, he is also heading back, and he tries to cover for the fact that Bell-mére has 2 kids that she's taking care of by saying, oh yeah, she invited me and a friend over for dinner actually. So that's why the place is set for 3. Yep. So here's my question. What do you think about her being like, I can't deny that I have a family?
Oh, what do you think about her?
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
Look, I understand the thought behind it. But for me, it just doesn't feel, it's like, you would rather let these girls grow up without a parent at all than let this piece of shit think that you don't have family for 10 minutes before he leaves.
I don't think it's letting Arlong and the fishmen think that she's not a mother, but I think it's not letting them believe, the girls believe that they don't have a mother. They just had this fight with Nami, very much screaming like, you're not really my mother. And then, like, what would be the emotional impact on the little girls if she denies them?
I think it would be less harmful than the emotional impact of watching her get shot in front of them 5 minutes later. I'm just saying.
No. I'm not disagreeing. I'm putting the other perspective of like, but but she's leaving them with the thought of, yes, at least I love them, instead of, I mean, you see it later on in the episodes. They immediately catch on. They immediately destroy all of the ships on the island. Like, there is no escape. So the girls were not going to be able to escape. They were going to, and Arlong settled down in that village pretty much. Mm-hmm. So the girls were not going to escape anyway.
Like, that's the thing, is like, when you know everything else, mm-hmm. but I don't believe that she necessarily knows all, like, that they're going to settle and stay there and continue to exploit this place. You know, she lived somewhere where they came and they hit and then they left again. Mm-hmm. So it's like, it's one thing in the context of having all of the information and knowing what their plan was to make the choice that she did, but she didn't have all of that information. So
deny her daughters.
I just don't feel like it's better to admit and then die in front of them and leave them alone than it is to have the very temporary denial and then still be around to like look out for them and care for them. Even like I said, as we know, they wouldn't have been able to keep that up, but she didn't know that at the time. And what was the game plan if they were just going to like up and leave? You know, these kids had nobody, and she took them in, and then she's going to leave them with nobody again.
But she didn't.
I don't like it.
Nobody. I completely agree with what you're saying, because I also was like, I don't think that she did the right thing. I don't also think that the alternative was great, because it's either put them into the ocean and send them on their own, mm-hmm. or leave them with a village of full people that are going to take care of them, even if she's not there.
Yeah, I guess. I just, I feel like the village could still have cared for them and she could have still been close to them, except that they would have to keep things under wraps more, but she would still be around. I don't know. Maybe I just don't understand the idea of like abandonment and the issue here, because for me as a kid, I would infinitely have preferred for my mother to tell them I wasn't her kid. Infinitely. I could do, and like, that was my mother. That's a very different situation than somebody who I know isn't blood relation and who I recently had so I think it's just really hard for me to put myself in that position and understand what that's like,
It's a very difficult situation. I don't think that either choice was right or wrong. I think that she just, I don't know, ultimately decided to be like, I can't deny my daughter, so here we go.
I will say that the way that they did the scene where she gets shot is really well done. It's playing right now. And it goes into all black and white, and it goes silent except for when it drops into a couple of flashbacks, and then we get some sound. But when it goes into her falling and the gun and the girls crying, it's all in black and white. I felt like that was really well done. It reminded me of Last Jedi. Have you seen Last Jedi? Mm-hmm. The moment where Haldo just flies her ship at light speed through their ship, and they just drop all sound entirely, mm-hmm. and just let you watch it. Like, I felt like
that was a great moment in the movie.
The choosing to go without sound can be more effective than a huge emotional swell in the music, actually, because that can feel like you're being manipulated. Instead, doing it this way makes you have to sit in that moment and really absorb it. And the
animation was on point on this.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, and we're starting to get to see the reason that oh my God, you just told me. Genzo. Oh my God, why can't I remember his name?
Nobody calls him Genzo. Everybody calls him Gensan, Genkun, Gen whatever. Like, nobody calls him his actual name.
Oh, doesn't somebody call him? No, that's the other guy. Yeah, okay. But yeah, we're seeing where he got so many of those scars that are all over him.
You were wondering.
I was. And it's that fucking shark fin man with the fin elbows. First of all, that guy jumping in front of Arlong earlier, and it turns out that he's just straight up bulletproof. Don't like it. These guys are too superpowered. We need to figure out a weakness. Some of them did die. Like, we saw Zoro killed some. Yeah. So it's not like they're immortal or anything, but he's fucking bulletproof. For Christ's sake. Is Arlong also bulletproof? I have to assume it's just that one guy that's bulletproof, or else Arlong would have just been like, yeah, shoot me, who cares, right?
Fish. So they probably have some qualities of the fish. But are there fish that are bulletproof? Shark, so he has really tough teeth. I don't know what type of fish he is that he has really hard skin. That's just where I'm going with these connections. Like, Arlong has really tough teeth because nobody has teeth like that.
I thought Arlong was a swordfish. Is he meant to be a shark?
He's like a swordfish shark type of thing. There's a specific type. I don't remember what type of fish exactly he is.
I need somebody to get me a spreadsheet, please, of all.
Oh, thank you, Kyle.
Says Kyle. Okay. Oh, so a sawfish, not a swordfish. Oh, yeah, because a sawfish has the ridges, but a swordfish, I think it's just straight, isn't it? Okay, yeah. There's some TV show hosted by, I think, a British dude or Australian dude where he looks for crazy fish in rivers and stuff. Fuck, I can't remember the name of it. And I've definitely seen a sawfish there. River Monsters. Thank you, Kyle. Yeah, that show is great. It's so much fun. Although some of the situations that man puts himself in, questionable. But anyway, okay, so Nami, understandably, she has, after this trauma, a deep aversion to seeing anybody else get hurt. She almost lost Gansen. I'm going to call him that. Because for some reason that's where my head... All right, I'm going to go with that. And as we see later, she almost loses her sister as well. I really thought she was dead. I really did. It was it looked like it got right, her heart, As we see, it's her shoulder.
Yeah.
I really thought she was, and I couldn't decide how I felt. I was like, am I impressed that they just decided to fucking do that? Or am I mad because she was rad and I don't want her to die? And once they decided that they were going to have her be alive, a part of me was kind of like, I don't know. I feel like that's cheating. But then another part of me was really happy that she was still alive because I enjoy her.
In the show.
What's that?
We need more women in the show.
I know, right? And I would like her to become part of the crew, but she doesn't seem particularly interested. She seems like a homebody, So I don't know. I am hopeful that I don't think, though. Maybe she'll wind up adopting that boy. Although he has his mother's still alive.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry, guys. Tangents. But Nami comes back after being carried off. And this is when we get the scene where she tries to convince everybody that she has genuinely become part of the Arlong pirates. And it's a hard scene to watch, man. This is a bummer. As we know, she's not telling them the truth. But watching this without that context at all, she pulls off really well the attempt at I'm going to look out for myself because nobody else is looking out for me. And they're going to give me everything I ever wanted when, Bell-mére wasn't able to afford basic stuff for us. So now I'm finally going to get everything. It's pretty convincing. I was really surprised. Now, what exactly is her reasoning for not, because she just says, I don't want anybody else to get hurt if they try to help me. Is that why she doesn't want to tell them?
No, she thought that they would be safer if they didn't know the truth.
Why?
Because, I don't know, because they will try to protect her. They will try to fight, as we saw later on. Like,
I don't think they would.
Because
I feel like they would.
She made the agreement. Like, I will buy this village,
right,
after saving up the money. So, but she can't buy the village if everybody keeps fighting Arlong and everybody dies. But instead, he's like, I'm just gonna go and do it on my own, hoping that they're just gonna stay in the status quo. Like, that's my interpretation, but I think that's too reasonable for a 10-year-old, so I don't know.
It just, like, for me, it seems much more risky to not tell them, because that seems like in, you know, the 8 years that pass, the likelihood that they'll get sick of this shit and fight back seems very high if they don't know somebody is actively working to try to help them the whole time. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if she let them know, they could, like, you know, slide some berries over to her on the DL for her to sock away, and the town could come together to try and help buy it back without, and as it turns out, Arlong had no intention of actually maintaining this deal, even though I thought, I didn't trust it to start, and then he convinced me that he meant it.
Loophole, though.
Exactly. But yeah, I felt like it would have made more sense to tell them than not, because then everybody can, like, bide their time and have good behavior because they know that there is something else in the works, you know? Yeah. And I appreciate that the town, like, everybody does know anyway, and that they all figured it out. I just didn't really understand what she was concerned about in keeping it to herself.
I think it's the beginning of that personality trait that we see later on, which is like, I'm just going to take care of everything myself. I'm going to protect everybody. Maybe there is a little bit of guilt, too, from the whole Bell-mére and my mother, and I feel guilty because we had a fight right before she died, and type of thing. But I think she just really just wanted to carry the burden, and she just began the whole process of, I'm just gonna take care of it all. I'm just gonna protect everybody by myself.
Yeah, okay, child. Sure.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Arlong is still going into town and demanding money and beating the shit out of people.
Yeah.
But yeah, she is going out there and just, like, fucking robbing pirates blind, because for her, that is some type of justice, and that makes complete sense to me. Go for it, girl. Sort of a Robin Hood situation, but unfortunately the money isn't going to the poor. It's going back to a piece of shit if the deal were to go through. So anyway, we finish with that tale, and we come back to the present, and I love it. Everybody is crying. And it turns out that, oh my God. I'm sorry, guys.
Everybody. I love them.
Sanji. Sanji is, like, about to fucking declare war on her behalf. And, what's her face? Decks him in the face. What's her name, man? Nojiko. Thank you. And she's basically like, do you not understand that she has done everything in order to not get other people involved? She is already in pain because she let herself become friends with you guys, and now look what's happening. Don't make this worse. And I get that. That makes sense to me. Johnny and his brother
Josaku?
Mm-hmm. That won't stay.
Don't worry.
Nope. You guys have told me those names so many times, and I don't know why I can't retain them. I think it's just because I assume that they're not going to be important. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much data collection on the hard drive, and I'm just like, yeah, that's not going to be necessary. It's fine. Every episode, I still need to be reminded, so I don't know why I don't just try.
I remember their names, but don't ask me which one is which. Because I cannot
I think Josuke is the one with the helmet on, and Johnny is the just like super ordinary looking guy.
Oh.
I think. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I love them watching from the sideline and crying. And then when we like go back to Arlong's in the next episode, they're just chilling outside, beat to shit. These two decided to just go challenge Arlong on their own?
It was their redemption.
No. It was hilarious.
No. I mean, that's how it did. It was their redemption. They failed at it. But, yeah.
These two, the show is so uninterested in their redemption that we don't even get to see them do it. They're just like, I mean, we'll have them go do a thing, I guess. I mean, when we get there, it'll be over. But nobody's going to care. It's fine. And you know what? They were right. I didn't care. It was fine.
You forgot they existed until you saw them at the door.
I'm like, I don't remember this guy's name, even though I've asked every week for a month what his name is. So, all right. I think you used your time wisely, show. Go ahead. So yeah, we find out here, and I don't think that we like knew how close she was, but Nami is almost at 100 million berries. She's so close. And as soon as she started to say, I'll be able to do it, I was like, oh, what's going to happen? And I didn't think, again, because Arlong had tricked me, I didn't think he was actually just going to figure out a way around it. I thought somebody else was going to do something to fuck it up. Like, maybe one of his henchmen would decide that they were going to like try and get credit for her money, in order to like get a promotion, basically. That they were going to find out that she had a stash and they were just going to come and take it and then go to him. Oh yeah, I found all of this. So, make me captain, something like that. Mm-hmm. Which would have been infuriating, but it wouldn't be as bad as what it turns out has happened. Should we just talk about that right now?
Should we talk about Ratface? Yes.
Yeah. Let's just talk about him. First of all, whoever drew this fucking man, they knew just the way to make a fucking smug face. Look at it. Look at this guy's face. Look at it. Look at it. Ugh, I hate it. The hooded eye, the smile without really smiling. He keeps making this like little like like a little rat laugh, which I do imagine is how rats laugh. Mm-hmm. And he comes in and is just like, hey, so, you know all that money that you got? That's ours now. That's the government's. Do you guys know, first of all, ACAB? Second of all, they can actually do this. Cops can just go in and take your fucking money and be like, it's evidence, and never give it back. 100% legal. That's like how they make a lot of their money for their state. Obviously, this guy isn't a cop. He's a Marine. In this show, it's the same thing. It's fine. I swear to God, y'all, the more I read into like everything that it makes me so angry. They could just take your shit and there is no recourse unless you already have other resources, which most people don't have. But
you need a good lawyer that can fight for amendment rights for you.
Yeah, you need to be able to pay for the law, basically. And it makes me so disgusted, you guys. Like, why is our world like this?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be this way. Anyway, I'm sorry, guys. That's my soapbox for the episode, and I'm getting down now.
I mean, they're good episodes, but they're downer of episodes in the sense.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll get into the next one because this one ends with him being like, "Give me all your money." And did did we jump ahead to the wrong one? I feel like I jumped to the wrong one. Oh no, I am in the right one. Damn it, now I'm not anymore. Ugh. I thought that it was... There we go. Okay.
Enjoy Netflix, because eventually you're going to have to move to Hulu. And that's not fun.
Oh, is the rest not on Netflix?
No, Netflix only has until the end of the next season.
Oh, shit. Okay. So when we start off the next episode, we're back in a flashback where we're seeing Nami make this deal with Arlong and him promising her that any deal that involves money, he would never renege on. He wouldn't dream of it. Again, you guys, I felt like I didn't believe him, but I couldn't. I felt like, okay, does the show want to just make that the one thing that he won't be shady on, except he will be because he steals wildly. But, just something that, like, I can understand deciding to give a character a code and have it be something kind of strict. So I didn't believe him, and then I did. And I was like, all right, you know what? Okay, we'll go with it. And then once we get to the start of this and you see him promising her, I was like, oh, this fucking guy told him where the money is. Because, of course, we know the dude's dirty already.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And that it takes a long time for them to get around to asking him how he knows. I think it's because he says specifically the amount of like almost 100 million. And they're like, wait, how do you know? And he's like, I just had a feeling.
Yeah.
Little bird told me around that amount. Just a wild guess. And Nami realizes exactly what the fuck is going on here.
Yeah.
So he had her running around working for him with no intention of keeping up his end of the deal and then stealing everything from her and just being like, hey, thanks for all the work you did. Capitalism.
Look, I took notes on the episode for the podcast, and my one note for this entire thing, I put, fuck the government. That was...
Honestly.
That was...
100%. Y'all, it's just... And you know what kills me too? Is anybody who has struggled with money knows this particular situation. The whole energy of, I worked so hard for this little, like this savings, this egg for myself, and some bullshit happens that I have no control over and just completely cleans it out. It's too real, guys. It's too familiar. I can't.
So I, like you, have to pay my own taxes and then figure it out with the IRS, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had one of those of, I've been paying every month or every quarter or whatever, and then when you get your IRS refund, whatever, the next year, oh, actually, you owe so many $1,000s still.
Yep.
And I'm like, I paid you very diligently on time. I even paid you more than I thought I should have paid you. And you're telling me I still owe you money?
Guys, you know that I started making more because of doing Spoil Me, and I was finally beginning to get my head above water. And this year I did my taxes, and guess how much I owe? I owe $11,000. $11,000.
Yeah.
I just like that they want me to put aside about 50% of what I'm making a month just to get even for next year. Never mind to like have paid up by the time I do my taxes for next year. That would just bring me to zero so that I can start paying them back again in April. What are you supposed to do? I'm working my ass off. I literally can't be doing more than I am. And you just can't win. Meanwhile, how many do you think Jeff Bezos paid in taxes last year, guys?
I feel like less than you and I.
I 100% think less than you and I. 100%. Because he has some magical fucking accountant and shell corporations and offshore accounts
Donations.
and donations. Maybe that's what I should do.
So much money. Well, he could just donate money to like
Right? Hello, worthy cause over here, Jeffy B. So anyway, I just really felt for Nami in this moment of gut punch where you feel like you're so close. It's in sight. All these years are beginning to pay off. I can't believe that I'm actually, nope. Like I was so excited. I had paid off almost all my credit card debt. And then I find out that's how much I owe the IRS. And it's like, that's more than any credit card debt I had was. Oh, okay. I'm never going to get my head above water. It doesn't feel like it's just not going to happen. Oh, Nami, I'm so sorry. And that's just me just trying to pay my damn bills. I'm not trying to save a town full of people. Like,
so close. She said it last episode with just one more journey.
Yep.
93 million. She just needed one more journey.
And like, to her credit, Nami is not about to go down without a fight. She beats the shit out of a bunch of these guys. I'm not mad at that.
Yeah.
This is the energy.
Yeah.
This is how, look at his stupid face. Oh, I hate him so much.
Rats.
Exactly. You sound like Charlie Brown. Rats.
So, I started One Piece somewhere around the end of Harry Potter. So for me, I always make the association of, I just hate rats in general. I hate rats.
Yeah, that's fair. Rats are like, they're one of those creatures that, in the right context, rats can be so cute. But in the wild, there's just not much to recommend them. No. I'm sorry, rats, but when you're domesticated, I can tolerate you. When you're just out and about, I can't deal. Mm-hmm. I can't help it. I have a bigotry against rats. What can I say? Some people have it with snakes. I don't mind snakes so much. Snakes are fine. They eat mice and rats. Go ahead. I feel about snakes the way I feel about spiders. Where, like, I hate moths way worse than spiders, and spiders eat moths, so we're on the same side as far as I'm concerned.
There we go.
So, yeah, this is the moment where Nami finds out that everybody actually knows about this whole deal. Mm-hmm. And they began to sort of piece it together because, like, the story that she told about joining the pirates, everybody was just kind of like, really? That just seemed like such a loony thing for you to go and do. Literally getting a fucking tattoo at the age of 10, you know? And what is it that, yeah, here it is. This is what he says, because I was about to ask. We pretended we didn't know because our hopes would keep you from running away from Arlong if you ever decided to. So what he means there is that if you ever tried to bail on Arlong, he'd definitely kill you. And so we were trying to keep you from doing that.
No, it was more of if she ever wanted to run away from Arlong, she shouldn't have to feel guilty about abandoning them because they didn't know. So they pretended that they didn't know so that she could just leave them whenever. I
like that. That's pretty good. Okay. That's pretty good. How devastating would it be, though, if she did leave them and then she, like, found out somehow that they had known the whole time and she just never came back? Oh, that would have been brutal. But so she's just been like an outcast in town, so she thought, even though everybody knew she was secretly working on their side. Ah, Nami. What a sad story. Poor Nami. And she doesn't want to accept help ever, which, like, frankly, I do understand that. You guys know that I'm a control freak. If you listen to any of my shows, I don't want to fucking, like, let anybody else in on the thing. First of all, I don't trust your competence. I'm going to be honest. It's not even just about, like, there are too many people that I have trusted to do things and they have fucked it up. And I have had to go in and redo it to fix it. So there's that. But also there's just a sense of, like, it's just easier. Let me just do it. It's just easier if I just do it, you know? Like, it'll take me longer to explain it to you than it will for just me to go in and do it. Whatever, it's fine.
Or they just do it wrong and you end up having to redo it anyway.
Right? That's mostly how it goes. And like, no offense to all of my ex-boyfriends, ex-husbands, present about to be husband, but that's definitely always how it happens with them with certain things as well.
No, but it's the way that you do it, so it's wrong.
I can't help it, guys. There are certain things that I just want done a certain way. Some things, however you do it, as long as it's done, it's fine. And then there are some things where I'm like, I can't stand here and look at this. Yeah. I gotta go fix that bed cover. Florian says, we've never really talked about age. Did you assume that Nami is 18? I think I assumed that she was a little younger than that, actually. I've been sort of getting like late teens on everybody except Zoro, pretty much.
What ages do you think everybody is?
I put Luffy at about 12. No. I'd probably put Luffy like 19. I don't even remember if we know how old he is. Do we? Should I know that?
They never really said it anywhere. So that would just the author Oda. He just revealed it in behind the scenes.
Okay. So I was thinking that Luffy was like 19. Usopp, I'd put like 15 or 16. Usopp seems young to me. Zoro, I'm going to put at like 25. Zoro feels like he's getting right at that age where you just start to get tired. You know, he's always sleeping. And 25 is really when you start to feel that you can't do shit you used to be able to do. Sanji and Zoro, 19. Yes. Really? Mm-hmm. Sanji looks like he's 50. So, I mean, not really, like, not in the face, but he just feels so much older than that.
It's because he works in customer service.
True. So Usopp and Luffy are the same age, and they're the youngest.
Yes.
Luffy is lucky anybody fucking listens to him. Yeah. I mean, that's true anyway, regardless of how old he turned out to be. But, all right. So, going back to the scene, this dude, are you saying all the villagers are thieves and that we should arrest them? No, I'm saying that I'm going to punch you right in the fucking face, and I hate you, and I hate your dumb, stupid mouse whiskers and your little hoodie. Like you're a friggin' weeb. That hoodie is literally a thing that you can go buy, I'm sure. And here comes this face-off. Nojiko throws herself in front of this bullet because she's a hero. Like I said, guys, I really did think she was dead, and I didn't know how to feel about it at all. And
sister.
I know, right? And like, it's just so in line with her character because that's what she kept being willing to do. She wanted to always be between Nami and danger, you know? But yeah, this is the moment where Nami realizes that Arlong is the one who sent this asshole. I think he's a colonel. Is that right?
I think he's just a lieutenant.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought he said something at one point about like his rank being high or something, but I guess not.
Or no, he's because he is specifically in an island and they have a different rank. I don't remember the rank, but okay. You're right. He has a weird rank. I can't.
Okay.
Remember. Somebody wiki it, please.
Brian says, I think he was captain. Okay.
I don't remember who was captain. Honestly, I don't remember the rank.
But they like find her treasure where it's buried in the tangerine orchard and dig it up. And he just starts putting his filthy paws all over it. And this is when Nami charges him. He holds up a pistol. And this bitch does not slow down for an instant. Like, it almost looks like it doesn't even register on her face that he has a gun at all. Even though there's a good like length interlude where she had to have seen it. But it makes no impression on her at all. She is just in it right now, and that is all there is to it. Everybody is saying he's the same rank as Axe Hand Morgan. Mm-hmm. Is he a Kaeya captain? Same rank as the... Oh, yeah. Okay, so that's what everybody's saying.
Okay, so it's okay.
So Najiko gets shot. Everything devolves. And Luffy is out here just in town, leaning up against like a something in the town square, and sees them carry out a body, and like gets a big smile on his face. And I was like, Luffy, buddy, what are you seeing that makes you smile right now? Because you have to see how sad everybody is. And even if you're like, my friend Nami, she's curled up around the head of her sister crying. Like, Luffy, what are you doing? He just comes into this scene. Hi, Nami! Shut up! Oh, I did not blame her at all. She basically, like, chucks him down the street. And I'm sorry, Luffy, I love you, and I know you mean well, but, oh my God, I would do the same thing.
Yeah.
Dude, not now.
Can you help? Like, you guys...
Oh. I genuinely want to know, what is it that he is seeing at this moment? Because it's like there's a totally different picture in front of his eyes. He lives in a totally separate reality from everybody else. So Nami goes to face Arlong.
Her face. I love her face.
She's so mad. And basically, she's like, what the fuck, dude? You promised me you would never break a promise. And he is like, did I? I don't see anywhere in the rules where it says that a dog can't play basketball. So I think this dog can definitely play on this basketball team. It's that sort of vibe. Mm-hmm. And, you know, this is the way the world actually does function, is that they just find a different way to do it, to screw you. That's just how it often happens. And him being like, no, I'll totally keep up my end of things. It's just, it happened that this dude found out mysteriously. Someone promised him 30%. It's all very mysterious. Yeah, that feels right. Do you think that he would have given that guy 30%?
No.
I can't decide.
Or, I mean, maybe he would. Because he has this agreement with the Marines so that they don't bother him.
Yeah.
So,
I feel like that's the one person he wouldn't risk fucking it up with. Because that guy's got some actual power, you know?
He can always just call the big league Marines to come and fight him, so...
Yeah, true. So yeah, basically Arlong just tells her, well, if you don't like it, you can run away and then I'll just kill everybody in the whole town. Or you can start from scratch and try and earn the money again if you like. Go ahead and do that if you feel like it.
Hide it in a better spot next time.
Yeah. Choose an offshore account, Nami. I recommend that based on Jeff Bezos's business model.
I gotta admit, she hit it and then drew a map.
True. Yeah, I mean that's fair.
like that's the only one that I'm like, Nami, sweetie, I guess you probably drew it when you were 10 years old. But
yeah,
you should have or leave the map with Nojiko. If you're really I don't know where it is, I need a map, just leave it with Nojiko. Don't leave it.
Because it's not in a weird place where there's 15 identical rocks and you never know. It's in the tangerine orchard you grew up in. Mm-hmm. And you have to be able to tell the trees apart. And I'm sure that there's just a patch of earth that you can tell has been dug up more recently than the rest. Like, you don't need to do that, girl. But so here comes this scene with Naji. Or not Naji. Sanji. I made up a name there, guys. Naji's going to be in the show later, I'm sure.
Shipping them already?
Yeah. But Sanji is talking to Usopp about how he's going to help Nami. And I love Usopp's purity of heart here. Because he's just like, well, we have to do this because Nami is our friend and the villagers are in danger. And Sanji is just like, oh, are we? Are they? I didn't hear any of that. I was too busy looking at Nami's tits. I'm sorry. I completely spaced out. And it's one of those, like, he's such a good example of, like, dudes who are like, I'm really nice, though. It's like, yeah, you only did all of the nice stuff because you wanted to get your dick wet, not because you were, like, pure of heart and actually wanted. Usopp, he's the one with the purity of heart. Marry Usopp, ladies. Marry the Usopp, not the Sanji. Look, Sanji's flashy, and he has that energy. I get it, but
and then you have Zoro.
And Zoro's like, I don't really care about the people. Like, I do, but I mostly just want to fight.
Yeah.
To which I'm like, I could get down with that too. I'm not mad at that, Zoro. As somebody who also has an angry energy and temper problems, that's fair. Florian, I hate you so much. For those not here, in the chat, Florian just said Usopp has the longer nose, in quotes. What that nose do, though? I bet you could do some wild shit with that nose, to be honest.
I mean.
Multitasking.
Oh.
Sorry, I just got such a mental image. I'm moving on. I'm getting out of this. All right. But yeah, he just tells Usopp to shut up, basically. And this is the beginnings of the gathering of the crowd. Zoro is like, well, we're going to head out because we're definitely actually going to do something about this. And then we go to the scene where we have the townspeople rising up and deciding that they are going to unite against Arlong. And Nami, it seems, is very aware that this is likely what's happening. She like goes running back to town. It seems like with the full consciousness that she has to stop them before they do some crazy shit. Like, she knows this is coming. And it's really a very close repeat to the scene when she was a little girl. I'm sure on purpose. Where she runs in just as they're getting riled up. And, you know, in the scene when she was little, they were like, I couldn't live with myself if I knew we had abandoned a little girl and blah, blah, blah. And here they're just like, we can't fucking live like this anymore. And Nami runs up and is just like, hey guys, listen, if you can just be patient, I will be able to earn all this money again. I'll be able to do it again. It's okay. Just chill and let me handle it. Please do not put yourself in the situation where you could get hurt. And she even says, it'll be easy this time. Like, well, with my experience, it should be no problem. I love this face that she's making where she's desperately trying to keep a smile on. Like, it's no big deal, whatever.
I've got this, guys. Don't worry.
This is...
Internally crying.
Honestly, 100%, right? This is like when somebody that you know means well, like, fucks something up on you, and you have to be nice about it because you know that they didn't mean it. But now you have to go in and do an extra 4 hours of work because they didn't like, yeah, I'm sorry, Nami.
True.
And essentially everybody is like, girl, look, we love you. We get it. But we are going to go and cave this motherfucker's skull in. Are you coming? And the answer is no, she is not coming. She is going to collapse in the middle of the street. And I don't blame her, because I just feel bad for her. She just is trying so hard to not wind up with everybody around her dead, you know? Especially after fucking Nojiko just got shot. Like, it was a close thing. She almost lost her. Depending on how the sanitation situation is in this town, that could go septic at any second. Nojiko could be walking dead right now for all we know. I'm sure she'll be fine, but I'm just saying in theory. So yeah, they all just gather their fucking pitchforks and torches and head over to Arlong's place. And like I said, Nami just stands there like immobile. And here comes Luffy. Look at her poor face. Poor Nami. She doesn't know what to do. I love this moment, guys. It's awful, but I love it. She has this little dagger, and she's sitting there in the street thinking about Arlong and how he has ruined her life and what a piece of shit he is. And she starts sort of clawing at her tattoo. And then she's like, you know what? And she grabs this dagger and she just starts fucking stabbing at her arm. Now, you don't need to go that hard. She goes pretty deep with that thing. Like, but I appreciate the sentiment and I deeply understand. Like, yeah. And Luffy walks up and stops her because she looks like she's about to just cut her whole arm off. Like, with the energy she's going in with, it's just a bit manic. And she says to Luffy, you don't even know what's happened. And I love him. He just says, yeah, I don't know. I really appreciate it that he's not trying to be like, no, I know everything. I know what's... He's genuinely just like, I wasn't here. Nope.
He legitimately doesn't know. He just doesn't care.
Mm-hmm. And she tells him, I don't need you, just leave. And she like half-heartedly scrapes some dirt at him. There was something so pitiful about that whole gesture. And he just stands there watching her. He doesn't put an arm around her. He doesn't offer her words of condolence. She just says, finally, Luffy, help me. And he takes off the hat and he smushes it down onto her head. And then he walks away and he just screams, of course I will!
All right. So this is like the moment. Like, I think probably the most impactful moment up until now. So I do want to hear like your thoughts on this, because it's the whole help me, and then the stabbing, and then there's the hat.
So what is the deal with the hat? What is the symbolism of that?
She had a little a flashback. Oh, didn't she? Did they show it? How she remembers how they have he didn't let her touch it before. He's like, no, this is mine. This is special. Don't touch it. And now now he's giving it to her. Be like, keep it safe while I go deal with this shit.
Oh, okay. I didn't remember that he told her not to touch it. I remember that he was very protective of it. Mm-hmm. But I didn't really like realize what that was supposed to mean there. It felt for me just like, oh, this isn't my ass kicking hat. I don't wear a hat to ass kick, so hold on to this for me. But if he had, so did he specifically tell her not to touch it, or was it just that she knows in general that he didn't like it?
Yeah, it's his. Look, as Florian is saying, the hat is his treasure, and at one point, I believe during the buggy arc, she grabs it or something. He's like, "Don't touch it. This is my treasure." Okay. That's like, don't they show? I'm pretty sure they show you like a mini like image of it in the episode, but maybe I just blinked.
In this episode?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Because they like to remind you of it because this is because of the significance of it.
I'm like scrolling through now to see if I can find this moment, if it happened right before
he puts it on. There's a quick flashback because
I see.
They want to make sure that you remember the fact that.
Gotcha. I don't think that I understood because like when he puts the hat on her head, it does flash to him like in like wearing it in the flashback and it covering his face, but it's a really brief flash with no dialogue or anything. So all I knew was that they were like, oh yeah, that hat was something that she has seen him in before, which I was sort of a weird, I just backtracked, guys, so we can see it didn't happen, did it? Okay, here it is. I think she's touching it. Yeah. Don't touch my treasure. There it is. There is dialogue. I just didn't see it. Okay.
Maybe it's because even in the manga, they do the flashback. So it's like
I
want to make sure you get it.
I'm sorry, guys, that I like because obviously it was meant to be more high impact than it wound up being because I did not make that connection. So, it's such a given to me that he is, of course, going to help her. He's been basically trying to offer to help her this whole time. Mm-hmm. So it like, while I really enjoy the moment, I don't feel like it feels as high impact to me. You know what I mean?
That's fair. Yeah, no, that's fair.
I don't know if it might just be like looking back when you know how the show like goes and where the arcs go that it but in the moment it felt like a badass moment, but it didn't feel like the moment.
I think it's because you never believed that Nami was not part of the crew. Like even throughout this whole thing, you've always like, oh, Nami's still part of the crew. She just has this issue.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to symbolize the like how much he trusts her.
Mm-hmm.
He's given her his most important possession.
Yeah, I guess that is what it is because like he clearly has trusted her this whole time. Even when people were like, she killed Usopp, and he was like, she absolutely didn't, and I'm going to take a nap. Mm-hmm. So him being like, here's my hat. I'm like, of course he gave her his hat because there's never been a single moment where he's been in doubt of her at all, even when everybody else was telling him. And here we get the right stuff slow-mo walk of everybody. What an odd grouping they are, though, to be sure. It's close up of his feet. We've got a Quentin Tarantino shot here. Oh my God, these two dudes sitting outside. I love too. After they're like, yeah, we challenged him and he beat the shit out of us. And we go inside the walls, and Arlong is talking to one of his guys who's like, they sucked so bad, it wasn't even worth killing them. And Arlong just cracks up over it. They really are so pitiful. And they say, if Luffy and his gang cannot straighten this shit out, that not only are y'all in trouble, but all of the East Blue is in trouble. Because these are pretty much four of the most badass. And we get a lot of different angles of them walking. I had not realized at the time just how many like versions of that shot we get, but that's pretty funny. Here's a bit with Arlong talking to his guy. And they can't be Zoro's guys. They were too weak. This guy's freaking elbows. Yo, I can't handle it. So this is when the door gets bashed in. And Luffy is just standing there outside this door and holds up his fist. Which one of you is Arlong?
Yeah.
To be continued. Da da da. Guys, I don't know. So here's my question, because it's really revealing now that I like think about it, how much what I think is going to happen in any given show is determined by where that episode has fallen in the season. Mm-hmm. But since this show doesn't have traditional seasons in the way I'm used to, I cannot tell. Are we just about to like have it out in the next 2 episodes? Is the having it out going to last 6, 7, 8 more episodes for all I know? Like, it feels, if this were like a regular show, it feels like next episode is Arlong's defeat. Just, you know? Mm-hmm. But this show doesn't move that fast.
See, this is the great part about us being the ones booking the episodes, because you don't know how many episodes are per saga arc or whatever. Mm-mm. You don't know at all. So you don't know if we still have 10, 15 episodes left on this thing or just 2 more.
Yeah. And like some of the arcs on this show were drawn out a lot. I mean, y'all know Don Krieg was the one that was probably the least interesting and also the longest somehow. But like Bucky the Clown's was what, 3 episodes?
I cannot remember.
It wasn't that long. Mm-hmm. And who was the one that he faced before that? Was that the next like big pirate king?
Axe Morgan. Because it's first is Axe Morgan with Zoro, and then you have Buggy with Nami and Zoro, and then you have Kuro with Usopp.
That one went on for a little bit longer than the Buggy arc did.
Yes.
But it didn't feel like it was long because Captain Kuro was just, what a great story that was.
Yeah.
And so like, the thing is, I'm struggling here, guys, between wanting a bunch of like wild shit to happen, which this show is very good about, but also I just want Arlong to die so bad. Like, everybody who has been a bad guy on this show, I have disliked. Mm-hmm. But Arlong is like...
Do you like Arlong?
This is personal. This is, you know, like, he fucked Nami over. And this isn't just like, oh, he came in and destroyed a town full of strangers. This is our girl, Nami, who he's been exploiting for almost a decade. And then screwed just because he wants the money. That's a long con to pull off.
What do you think are Arlong's motivations? Because you've heard Kudos, you've heard Don Krieg, you've heard all of the others. What do you think are Arlong's motivations?
All he keeps saying is that we are an inferior species, human beings, right? I don't really get why money, like, when one thinks about what makes the human species inferior, it's usually, to me at least, tied in with the fact that we have money at all as a concept. That is evidence that we are very bad at life. We created this ridiculous arbitrary system, and now everybody lives and dies by it. And when you deal with like AI that becomes self-aware, they're just like, what is money? Can you eat money? No. You know, like, or aliens coming down to Earth. You guys care about money? What even is that? So I'm very used to the concept of money being the thing that someone who claims to be a higher being disdains very explicitly. The fact that he is so into money, but he also thinks that he is superior to human beings, I can't figure out what the deal is then. Like, is he trying to build an underwater kingdom? Why? They can live on land. They don't need to be underwater. They seem to like living on land, if anything. And he can just take what he wants. If they're so superior, they can just go in and defeat anybody, which they have. Does he just think that that's going to prove to other humans that?
But why will he want to prove anything to humans when humans are so inferior?
This is what I'm saying. And like, I don't know. I truly don't. And are these the only fishmen? Are there other fishmen?
I mean, we've heard mention that there were a couple of other fishmen. Because remember how he was sent to East Blue, and there was this other guy who was a warlord that they mentioned earlier, or something like that.
Oh yeah.
So we know that there's other. We don't know how many other fishermen there are, but they have mentioned at least one other.
So, do they all like? I'm just really wondering now. Are there factions within the fishmen? Are there some fishmen that don't care about money, and they're just like that fucking amateur Arlong thinks getting rich is the thing because he's a goddamn idiot. And they just have a whole other like fish-based currency system where it's like minnows.
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't know. I can't figure it out. Because he's like, it seems like he likes the power of being able to come in and take from people. But I have to imagine when he was sailing from place to place, he was making more money. These people are like blood from a stone at this point. How do they even make money? They don't have trade.
Yeah. He's just taking advantage of a bunch of little islands in the East Blue.
So he still goes out and pirates from his base, probably.
Well, more like he has like a bunch of islands in the vicinity, and he just controls them the way that he controls Kokoyashi and Ngosa and all those. In that sense.
Okay.
So he has a bunch of villages under his control.
I'm just worried that we're going to get into the midst of this fight, and then all of a sudden all these other fishmen are going to show up, and our forces will be overwhelmed, caught in a pincher attack, and we will have nothing. We'll just have to escape and watch the town burn behind us, and that would be very upsetting. Yeah, because there's always more pirates. If this show has taught me anything.
Well, I mean, you already know that there's a bigger world out there. We currently are in East Blue, which Mihawk once described as the weakest of the seas.
Right.
So we have East Blue, and you already know that there is the graveyard of the pirates. And
right, yeah.
But if there's an East, you also have a North, a West, a South.
The center?
So there is a ton of pirates out there.
I really there's a big part of me that's like, how about we just stop sailing, guys? How about we just stick to land? How about that? There's still threats on land, though.
And, do a retirement there.
Yeah, we could make some sort of commune for everybody to live together happily, grow some tangerines.
What about the One Piece?
Okay. I got to tell you guys something that I think this is one of those things that I can't tell how much of a spoiler it is because I don't know anything. So it's like, is this a spoiler or is this a joke or is this an actual spoiler that is a joke?
Okay.
But a friend of mine posted something about how all of the, it was a meme where they were talking about series from your childhood and how as you get older, nothing is quite the same. And then there was a reply within the meme that says, "Aw, come on, guys. I mean, Luffy still hasn't found the One Piece." And I can't tell if that is a real thing that, it's been 20 fucking years and he still has not found the One Piece. I have stated already that I don't know if the One Piece is a real thing that he can find at all. Because for all I know, the One Piece is the friends we made along the way. But I just wanted to let you all know that I definitely saw that meme. So
I mean, look, the show is still ongoing, and we are at anime. We are in episode 980 something.
My God in heaven!
And manga, we're at chapter 1021, and it's still ongoing. So that's as far as I can tell you.
And that's the thing. I was like, if there's nothing to say that he finds the One Piece and the story can't continue beyond, because the One Piece could just not be what he thought it was. Mistborn, anybody? So it could just be that he finds it and he's like, oh, well, anybody want to go get tacos? And then a whole other thing happens after that.
I mean, I'm thinking, for example, I finished Cradle. So on book 1, they tell you there is this big thing coming,
Mm-hmm.
and you get to book 9, and the big thing sort of happens.
Right.
Sorry about that, but there's still more books coming.
Yep. It does not. The arcs of that series does not go the way you think it's going to go.
Yeah. So One Piece. I mean, maybe they already found the One Piece, and the story still keeps going.
Maybe Luffy's the One Piece. Maybe he just has to find himself. Maybe he has to look inside, Luffy. Maybe it's not all about material things, you know? Mm-hmm. Maybe finding the One Piece is your soul so that you can become King of the Pirates because it was inside you all along.
It is the friends we made along the way.
I'm just saying. It's just for instance. But yeah, and like, I also feel a little bit sad. I don't know if this is going to be, you know, how things wind up, but it looks like Nami's just going to sit this one out. And I'm super, super sad about that. I would like Nami to please go fight and murder Arlong in the face with many knives. Please. I would like that. So I was a little like, as much as I loved the right stuff walk of our guys, I was sort of like, this is Nami's fucking territory, though. And she's not the type to just sit back and let people do things. As we know, that's the whole point of her character. So probably in the midst of this, she'll get up in that mix. But she did also just stab herself repeatedly in the arm. Mm-hmm. So I have to feel like that's going to have some effect on things. But I would like her to be the one to get justice for her people. You know,
yeah. I mean, right now I feel like Nami is like, you know, she just hired a fabulous cleaning crew to clean her entire house because she's just tired of doing it herself.
Fucking amen.
Currently, right now, she's sitting in a nice couch, drinking a margarita while letting the cleaning crew.
That sounds amazing.
That's how I sort of see what's happening right now. But maybe she'll get up and decide to be like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it myself. This voice, we cannot trust this voice to do anything.
Just like maybe she'll be like, look, if you guys can get it started for me, just like pull the chain on the lawnmower a few times, get it going, and I'll finish the lawn. But I just can't with this fucking lawnmower. I'm tired. I've been there. You know, somebody else gets things rolling and then I like pitch in and I'm like, okay, well, now that you've started, I feel like motivated.
Oh, yeah. Florian.
So Florian says, by the way, have you talked about Nami's dream, her passion? Oh, being a navigator. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. And that's what she like tries to tell everybody that she's been hired to do for Arlong, which I mean, like, isn't untrue. Arlong says he is never going to find another navigator as talented as her. And once she finishes mapping all the seas, then he'll give her freedom. And all of his dudes get a great laugh out of that because that's decades from now. 100 years wouldn't be enough.
Yeah. But it is also her dream, as she told her mom when she was little. She wanted to draw everything. She wanted to draw every island, every section of the world.
I love in stories like this when somebody has, like, even as a very young child, that kind of particularly niche interest. I get for the story that we need her to be a navigator and need her to be really good at it. But if you had a kid that was obsessed with drawing maps and was like, I want to be a naval navigator at the age of 7, wouldn't you be like, okay, little weirdo, I guess?
I mean, I'm going to be the nerd who wanted to be an astrophysicist when she was 8. So
that's like, even astrophysicist doesn't feel as niche to me because there's a lot of mention of astrophysicists in stories and stuff, especially if you read like science fiction as a kid. Mm-hmm. But like a navigator of the seas, that's very particular. I guess that they have a pretty like ocean travel centric culture on her island, so it makes more sense.
I mean, yeah.
But it's like, there was a kid in my class in high school, and this was one of those ones where I was just like genuinely like, really? He wanted to work for the people that build stoplights. He wanted to work in like traffic control because it dealt a lot in like algorithms and stuff with figuring out like the flow and ebb of traffic and the timing of lights. And I remember just being like, how did you even find out that was a job? Like, what? And it turned out it was, and it was like a very specific thing, and you could make pretty decent money at it. But at the time I was just like, whose dream is that? What a weird thing. And I could never tell if he meant it, that it was like genuinely something he was super passionate about, or if it was just something that was interesting and also pretty reliable for a job. Because sometimes I think people convince themselves that they're really into something because they know, and I can make a living on that, you know? And there's nothing wrong. I respect that. I understand that impulse. But you know, I didn't have that energy as a teenager. I was like, I'm going to be Britney Spears. So I can't relate to having that kind of foresight at that age and being like, let me make sure that I have a 401k as soon as I get out of college. But yeah, I mean, like, if Nami gets out of this and she's able to go off with Luffy, if he's going to go to the Grand Line, he needs a gifted navigator.
That's right.
God knows nobody else knows what they're doing.
If he wants to find the One Piece, wherever that is, even if it's inside his heart.
Nami, draw a map of his heart.
Now he's going to have to draw a map of his heart.
Nami, draw his circulatory system.
Well, see, now the dreams and the crew are coming together.
Yes.
What do you think of all of the dreams? Like, how do they fit nicely in a way?
So, Zoro wants to be the strongest swordsman alive. He doesn't really need Luffy for that. But it seems like he just enjoys that everywhere Luffy goes, there's a fight. Right? So it seems like practical. Just team up with somebody who causes trouble everywhere they go. Yeah. That makes sense.
If you want to be a pirate king, you're going to need strong people with you. So the strongest swordsman.
Well, I'm talking about from Zoro's perspective.
Oh, yeah,
I totally get why Luffy wants Zoro. But I'm sitting here like, why does Zoro want Luffy? And now I'm like, okay, I can get it. Usopp, what is his dream? Because like we know that he just wanted to be a pirate because of his dad. But is that it? Kind of? Is there anything more to that? Or can you not tell me?
I'm trying to remember if he, like, expressed it. Because he wanted to, like, go out and be, like...
Like his dad, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think he just wanted to go and be a pirate.
Usopp's the one that I have the hardest time with. Because he's just so defensive of his piece of shit fucking abandoning father who sucks. And it's just wild to me that not only is he like, my dad was the greatest, but his mother is even like, your father is a great man. I'm like, he's the worst. And you both are fools. Stop it. And then we've got Sanji who wants the, what is the name of the great blue? The all blue. Right. So he just wants to make a lot of fish food. Yeah, I stand by it.
He just wants to have access to all the fish.
All right, that's fair. Nami has had this motivation, but it was really like getting in the way of just being a navigator, period. So that'll be all set. And then we've got Johnny and Guy, whose name I can't remember.
Yes, I do.
We don't care about them, right? Who cares about their dreams?
I don't know. They just want to be with their big brother Zoro.
Lame. Guys, go get a life. Okay? Seriously. Nobody wants this. They're like the little brothers. This dude is going to go hang out with his friends down at the quarry and get stoned. And his mom is like, take Ben and Jim with you. And he's like, Mom, God. And then Ben or Jim falls into the quarry and dies, and he carries around guilt for the rest of his life. I just wrote a little fan fiction there, guys.
There you go.
So, yeah, Who cares about them? I really do want another woman in the mix, though. I'm sorry about Nojiko. I just don't think that she's going to be part of things. She doesn't seem to want to be, you know. Somebody got to take care of these tangerines.
That is
I guess.
Bell-mére's tangerines need to, like, be water and all of that.
So, all right, we've got Luffy, who's the captain. We've got a fighter. We've got another guy who also wants to be the captain. But he's
officially the what is it? I don't know the term.
First mate?
Well, no, because Usopp, because remember how he shot the cannon into the island, and that's how we ended up with Johnny and Josaku.
Right.
And that's when is that a term from the ship? How do you call it?
Brian says sniper.
But whoever like shoots the cannons, pretty much.
Yeah, okay. I know what you're trying to say. Yeah. Gunner? Is it gunner?
Cannoneer. Thank you.
Cannoneer. All right. So shooting.
So that's his role.
Oh, right, because he's got the fucking like slingshot too. I forgot about that.
And Luffy actually calls him like, "Oh, you're gonna be the cannoneer,
right?
Or whatever," because he managed to hit the island in one go.
So then we've got Sanji, who's the chef.
Yes.
We've got Nami, who's the navigator. So what we need is musicians. I'm pretty sure Luffy has mentioned before.
He wants his musician.
So we need musicians. We need, you know what we need in this mix?
What?
Nami might be able to pull this off, though. We need somebody who's like a shape-shifting type. Not necessarily like literally like Mystique, but you know, somebody who's like a good con artist. And Usopp is like, he loves to lie, but I wouldn't say he's good at it. He never really fools anybody. He's always shaking and crying when he's lying, you know? And the first time that we meet him, when he tries to lie to Luffy and Nami about how many men he has, he says like 9 million. We need somebody who's a little bit more suave to like infiltrate. Oh. But I don't know. Nami could probably, we've seen her like, you know, take advantage of a dude or two with her feminine wiles. Yeah. I don't know though. I mean, you know what the thing is I'm realizing? Mm-hmm. I want this to be a heist show. That's what I'm thinking about, like the roles of different people in a heist movie. I'm getting too much into that mentality. And you always need somebody who can, like, you know, do improv on the fly and have multiple costumes and be convincing. And being a pirate, you just don't really need to worry about that. You just go up to people. You don't have to pretend anything.
And I mean, with Luffy at the head, like how sneaky can you be?
Yeah. God. I just remembered in the buggy one when everybody's talking about how we're going to kill the pirates if we find them. And then they say, "Who are you?" And Luffy just says, "We're pirates." And poor Nami behind him like, why? Yeah, you're not pulling off any scams with Luffy. Bless his heart.
Before you cut us off, I wanted to ask you the final big question, which is, this is the darkest the story I feel like has gone. Were you expecting this? Were you expecting this level of depth?
I wasn't. It was hard to say. I honestly wasn't sure if they were going to wind up killing Bell-mére or not, because there was a moment where I thought, what if she's like being kept somewhere secretly away from Arlong and she's still alive, but she's hidden, you know, and it's going to turn out she was alive the whole time. But after the episode with Zoro and his, like, you know, I was going to say arch nemesis, but really rival is a better word, and her very unexpected death, I was willing to believe that the show would kill her. I just sort of thought, well, maybe not. I couldn't decide, you know. So I wouldn't say that I was expecting it, but I wasn't surprised by it. I was about to be surprised if Nojiko was dead. I was genuinely like, wow, for a second, I did not think that was going to happen. But like I said, I am glad that she's around, even though a part of me isn't, but mostly I am, but a little not. But yes, definitely. So yeah, I think that basically like Zoro's, his arc cemented for me that the show was willing to go fairly dark. Because there was like no need for her death, you know, his rival. That was just a purely like accidental thing, you know? So if they were willing to have somebody, and it was treated with great gravity, you know, even though it wasn't like that for me, just sort of, it took things to another level.
Well, that reminds me. I don't know if we actually talk about this here, but I was recently made aware that falling down the stairs is in Japan, it's sort of like a euphemism for people who kill themselves. Yes. So that usually when somebody kills themselves, you usually don't say that. You just say like, no, they fell down the stairs.
So is that implied that like because her father is telling her she will grow weaker as she gets older, that she just like took her own life?
It's an interpretation that I was just made aware of like in the last couple of weeks.
Wow.
I don't know if that's actually what the author implied, but it's one interpretation that I heard recently.
Interesting. Well, then that makes that the darkest episode. If that's what it is, shit.
Yeah, it is up. Yeah, that's Florian said. It is up in the air, especially because here in the anime they made it very clear. Like, she was walking and
tripped over something.
Like they make it a little bit more clear in the anime. But like, but in the manga, for example, you have Zeph eating his own leg. So
right.
So the implications in the manga are a little darker.
Yeah, I would like, because if that's the case, then that would definitely be the darkest because, you know, Zeph eating his own leg is also very dark. And if we kept that, at least he did that to stay alive, as dark as it is. But a young woman killing herself out of despair because she thinks that she's never going to be able to reach her full potential because she's a woman. That is pretty bleak. But it all depends on whether or not that was what was intended.
It's just interpretation.
Because, like in this, you know, we have Bell-mére. She's killed in front of her kids, but also the last thing that she says is "I love you." So there's like a sweet note, even though it's horrible.
Even though Arlong's last words to her is "Die with your pathetic love," which is
a pretty good line. I forgot about that line. That's pretty good, though. Damn, I forgot about that.
It is a dark scene.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you all so much for coming and hanging out with us in the chat. Thank you very much to Gabriela for commissioning this episode and joining me. It was a lot of fun.
Yes.
And I'm booked through December, so there's going to be an episode very steadily. Oops. No, I'm sorry. I accidentally clicked something and it's like, do you want to leave this site? Thank you for warning me, Google. No, I do not. Almost just fucking close this with no warning. But yeah, we're going to be very consistently like, twice a week coming up starting soon. So if, y'all are sort of, cause there were a couple times where there were some big spaces between episodes, but it doesn't look like that's going to be happening that much, more often starting like late December. What's that?
Thank you, Bernadette.
Yes, thank you, Bernadette. Bernadette got into contact with me about that. And, you know, I'm going to be having my wedding in mid-December and everything. So there's going to be a couple of weeks in December where you won't see me at all. But it's not because nothing was booked. It was because I am getting wed. So, yay. All right, guys. Well, thank you again. I will be seeing you all again soon with a new episode. Until then. Toodaloo, motherfuckers.
was an Unspoiled Network podcast.